Here are 7 things you need to know before you move to Tucson. So number 1, we have the mountains. So whenever I have a friend come visiting, whenever I know someone that's moving here, someone that's going to the University of Arizona as a first-time college student, one of the first things they always point out are the mountain ranges, saying how beautiful they are. So that is one of the biggest things. So Tucson's surrounded by 5 surrounding mountain ranges. And those mountain ranges are the Catalina Mountains to the north. And that's where the Catalina Foothills neighborhood is that spans across the Catalinas. And there you're gonna find some of the most luxurious homes. You're gonna find a lot of million-dollar homes. You're gonna find country clubs. You're gonna find good restaurants. You're gonna find the La Encantada Mall that has a lot of good shopping, has AJ's, fine foods, and you're gonna find a lot of golf. So part of Catalina is Mount Lemmon, which at its highest is 9,157 feet in elevation. So during the winter time, you're gonna get snow up there in Mount Lemmon. A lot of people like to go sledding up there, so they'll take their little kids to go sledding up there. They have some little bunny hills you can sled on. You can also go skiing up there. It's the one spot in Tucson you can go skiing at. From the bottom of the mountain all the way to the peak of Mount Lemmon is about a 45-minute drive. So every part of Tucson, you're about an hour and a half away from the top of Mount Lemmon, which is really cool because at every part of the year, Mount Lemmon is probably 15 to 20 degrees cooler. So especially in the summertime, they have cabins up there. They have some cool restaurants, cool bars up there where people will go and just cool off for a little bit during the weekend. And to the east, you're gonna find the Rincon Mountains. And the Rincon Mountains have great hiking. It's called Saguaro National Park East, and it's got a ton of saguaro cactuses. It's a great Instagram-worthy spot, great hiking trails. For the Rincons, the third mountain range is going to be the Santa Rita Mountains to the south, and they're known for their historic mining and scenic drives. A lot of these are known for their scenic drives, but Santa Rita as well. The fourth mountain range is the Tucson Mountains to the west, and these are some of the most famous mountains in Tucson. So this includes A Mountain, which A Mountain is the mount that you'll see with a big white A on it, painted for the University of Arizona. You know, sometimes during rivalry week when ASU and Arizona are playing in football or basketball or any sport really, sometimes ASU fans will come across and they'll paint that white A yellow overnight, or they'll paint it maroon. And it's happened a few times. And so as the U of A fans wake up in Tucson, they see that race up the mountain with their white paint, and they'll be gone. And so that's really cool. And then also in the Tucson Mountains is Tumamoc Hill. Tumamoc Hill is one of the most famous hiking spots in Tucson. It's about a 2-mile hike up the mountain, straight up the mountain, and you're just going straight up a couple thousand feet in elevation. For a lot of big time athletes, they'll like to go up there, they'll push a sled up there, they'll make it really hard, they'll put a weight vest on. A lot of people like to get good exercise up Tumamoc Hill. It also makes for some of the best views in Tucson at Tumamoc Hill. It's one of the most picture-worthy spots. When you get to the top or even halfway, you can see the whole city view of Tucson, which is really cool. And that takes us to our last mountain range. And to the northwest are the Tortolita Mountains. This area is a little bit lesser known, not as popular, but it's still got a lot of really good trails, more quiet trails, not going to be as many people out there. So if you're looking for a little bit more peace on your walking trails, this is the area for you. And then also perfect for mountain biking. So if you're really into mountain biking, this is a great spot for you to go out there, ride your mountain bike. There's less people to worry about. So the outdoor lifestyle in Tucson is kind of shaped by the mountains. A ton of people hike, a ton of people bike. A lot of people just like to go bird watching in the mountains, or go to the desert museum. A lot of people just like to watch the wildlife in the desert, and it's one of the really cool aspects of living in Tucson. There's also a ton of good view spots. You can go to Gates Pass, and Gates Pass is to the west side of town in the mountains. It's a really cool scenic drive up in the hills where you can see a huge amount of Tucson, and those spots are really, really cool to see as well during monsoon season, which we'll get to later. The mountains also influence real estate in a big way, so the most luxurious homes are often in the mountains. They have the best views, and so you'll find a lot of really high-priced homes in the Catalina foothills. You'll find some on the west side in the mountains. You'll find a little bit in the north side, northwest side in Oro Valley, and then you have a good amount scattered in the east side. And the east side is going to be a little bit more spread out, some ranch homes, a lot more space for people to put RVs and horses and things like that. The second thing you need to know before you move to Tucson are these sunsets. The sunsets are some of the best sunsets in the United States. Vivid orange, purples, especially against the mountains. You'll see the sun hit against the mountain and create that purple hue, which is really cool. And like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of good viewing spots of of these sunsets. You got Gates Pass, Tucson Hill, A Mountain, and especially during monsoon season, you'll see a lot of really cool thunderstorms. You'll see lightning coming through the sunsets, and it just makes for really cool. And that's why a lot of photographers do really good work out here. They'll come to Tucson during this time of year, take some really cool pictures. And that leads me to the third point of the University of Arizona. The University of Arizona kind of shapes how Tucson is as a community, how it's built, how people talk around the community. Tucson is a really big college town, and anytime there's a big sports game, anytime Arizona basketball is really good, anytime there's a football game coming up, you're gonna hear everyone talking in town. You're gonna hear them at breakfast, you're gonna hear them just talking about Arizona all the time. And you're gonna see everybody wearing the Block A around town because the nearest sports teams that are professional are in Phoenix, so you're gonna have to drive 2 hours to go to Phoenix if you want to see the Suns, Cardinals, Mercury. The only sports in Tucson are the Arizona Wildcats, so they kind of run the city. And then during the summertime, when all the students leave, Tucson kind of becomes very different. That area around the University of Arizona, which is central Tucson, there's a lot less people around there, businesses around there, oftentimes closed during the summer. You'll just see not as many people out there. But if you want a really lively, energetic crowd, if you want to be in the action, that action is central Tucson around the University of Arizona during the week, weekends, and downtown as well. Tucson also has a younger population than most cities, a couple years younger, and that's because of the University of Arizona. A lot of people stay, a lot of students stay after they graduate. And down by the University of Arizona is also a really cool place to go eat, to go watch a game, of course, but there's a lot of really cool bars down there, have outside seating, that have misters, that have huge TVs and cool patios to watch the games on the weekends. They have a lot of good food deals down there, especially because they're catering to college students. The fourth thing you need to know before you move to Tucson is you absolutely need a car. Tucson is not a city where you can get by on Ubers or public transit or anything like that. Tucson's pretty spread out. There's not a lot of skyscrapers, as you know. When Tucson is built, it just keeps going out. It keeps going wider and wider. There's not a major highway. The only major highway in Tucson is on the west side of town, called I-10. And unless you really live on the west side of town, you're not really taking I-10 too often. If you live, central to about the east side of town, you're only going to take I-10 if you're going up to Phoenix for the weekend, if you want to go fly out of Phoenix or anything like that. For the 95% of Tucson, you are just going to be driving residential roads throughout your day-to-day. And to be honest with you guys, not the best roads. So just keep that in mind before you move here. That also leads me to the food scene. So the fifth thing you need to know before you move to Tucson is Tucson has one of the best food scenes in the entire country. And I've lived in a lot of places, lived in Arkansas, lived in California, been to a lot of states, probably been to around, 40 states. But I still think Tucson has the best food scene in the country. And actually just got recognized as a UNESCO City of Gastronomy. Some of the best food you will find in the country, some of the best Mexican food you'll find. Only 45 minutes north of the border of Mexico. So you're gonna have a lot of really good Mexican flavor out here. And that includes street tacos, Sonoran hot dogs, upscale dining options as well for Mexican food, but food in general is really good out here. So this one's really cool. The sixth thing you need to know before you move to Tucson is murals. You're gonna see murals painted everywhere, all over, especially downtown. There's a ton of murals downtown, but really all within Tucson. There's murals of javelinas biking on a biking path together. There's murals of famous people. There's murals of Mexican heritage. There's murals, seasonal murals, when Halloween comes around. And that was one of the things when I moved back here from California, I was kind of surprised. I forgot how much art there is in Tucson, how much art there is in downtown. And there's some really talented artists. Just really brights up the downtown area, super vibrant. And it kind of reflects Tucson's diverse culture, history, and just heritage within it all. And the two hot spots are obviously downtown and Barrio Viejo. But yeah, exploring the murals is just a fun way to experience the city's artistic personality, and you'll get to learn a lot about Tucson's quirky ways just by looking at all the murals. The last thing you need to know before you move to Tucson is the wildlife. And the wildlife is real here, so especially in the last couple of days, I've seen numerous rattlesnakes. I've seen coyotes. Starting with javelinas, if you guys have never heard of javelinas before, they're kind of a wild pig, a desert pig. They are kind of a menace to society. So if you have a garden, you have to make sure you have a fence up around the garden. They love vegetation. They love eating cactus. So they'll kind of make a mess in your garden. Make sure they can't get into that area. They can't jump, so make sure you have a little gate around that area. Halloween time, every time we put out pumpkins or anything like that, they'll come by and eat all the pumpkins. If you have trash and they're really hungry that week, they'll knock over your trash bin and go through your trash. And then if you're going on a walk with your dog, they'll never really be aggressive towards you. The only time they'll be aggressive is if they have their little babies around and your dog maybe starts barking at them or goes after them. Really haven't had a problem in my life living in Tucson with javelinas. I have seen a lot of coyotes lately. If you have a small dog, be careful. I would say moving to Tucson, living in Tucson, make sure you never have a small dog out in your yard by themselves. Make sure you're always out there with them. If you have medium or larger dogs, you'll be fine. But coyotes are everywhere in Tucson. They'll come in packs. You'll hear them howling at night. I just know in my backyard, we have a Ring camera and they've just been following them around. They'll come jump the fence and play with my dog's toys, and they'll rip up my dog's toys. A couple of times they've been back there when my dogs go out, but we luckily have a couple big dogs and scared them off. Yeah, they are a real issue. Especially this time of year, you're gonna see a lot of rattlesnakes. And so when you think of the desert, you think of snakes, you think of rattlesnakes, but they are a very real thing, especially during monsoon season. It's going to rain, it's going to storm. And when that happens, especially during the summertime, you're gonna see a lot of snakes come out. And I don't know why that is, but I've seen a couple. There's only one shady tree I went to go step under it, and there's a big fat rattlesnake sitting right there. So be careful of rattlesnakes as well. Gila monsters are pretty unique to Tucson. I haven't seen a whole ton in my time living here, but they are super venomous, but they're slow, big, fat, basically lizards. You know they're venomous and you know they're Gila monsters because you'll see some bright spots on them, or you see like a bright streak of yellow, and that's a Gila monster. And so they're super slow, but they can be very dangerous if you step on the wrong spot in the desert or your dog steps. They'll just grab onto your leg and they won't let go, and they'll just squeeze venom. So be careful of Gila monsters as well. And then obviously you're gonna see bobcats, mountain lions, but I feel like every area kind of has animals like that. But the ones specific to Tucson are definitely real. So it's something that you definitely have to. And then scorpions is the last one I forgot. I just saw a scorpion the other day showing a house just outside the door. So scorpions are a very real thing as well. But haven't been too bad that, they got scorpion spray, and you could have pest control come out and make sure you don't have any in your property. Haven't had too much of a hard time with scorpions. And hey, if you are looking for a house to buy, if you're looking to sell or even invest, I'm a real estate agent in Tucson. I want to be your local Tucson realtor. My name is Elijah Roth, and would love to help you move to Tucson. My contact information is below, so please give me a call or give me a text. Love helping people move to Tucson, love helping people move within Tucson, and we do it every day. So I hope you guys learned something. Now you guys know 7 more things than you knew before. Hopefully I didn't scare you too much from moving here or living here longer than you already are. So please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting videos just like this every single week, telling you everything you need to know about living in Tucson, moving to Tucson, just quirky things that you never knew about Tucson. So I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you.